Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I want to go over the order module in MSoundfactory and MXXX. So this was added a while ago, maybe a few months ago, actually almost a year ago actually. And lots of people haven't been using it, and somebody asked me, like, how do you use it and what does it do and what is it for? So today I thought I'd show you. So it can actually be used in the generator and the FX section, but today I'll go over it in the FX section. Basically, what it does is it allows you to rearrange different effects. So if, let's say, a reverb is before an equalizer, but you think, actually I want the equalizer before the reverb, you can change it quickly and easily, even on the edit screen, which can be very useful if you're creating a device in MSoundfactory, or just, make things easier for yourself. And you can do that not just with, two effects, you can do it with multiple effects. So I'll show you today maybe how and also why. So let's get into the why first. So we have some effects here. Let's say we have a tremolo and I have just a basic oscillator. So it'll sound like this without the tremolo. Right? Now let's turn this tremolo on. So nothing too interesting. Now let's try it with this reverb. Okay. Now, let's try first with this tremolo going into the reverb. It sounds like this. Right? Okay. Easy enough to understand. Now, let's switch it. So now we have the tremolo after the reverb. That sounds completely different. It almost sounds like there's no reverb on there at all, except you can hear when I release it, it sounds like almost a delay because of the tremolo. So in this case, these effects, they make a difference in the order they're in. Not all effects do. Some effects, it doesn't really matter where you put them, but in this case, it actually does. Or I'll give you another example. Let's leave the reverb on, and let's try this. I'm using Rhythmizer, and now I'm using the time section. I'm making it go in reverse. Let me turn on this filter. I have it set to like a pluck sound, so if I turn everything off, it sounds like this. Okay, so now let's try it with the Rhythmizer in the reverse before charm verb. So you can hear it sounds like the pluck is going backwards, but then you hear the reverb afterwards. Now let's move it the other way. So now the charm verb is first and the rhythmizer is afterwards. Now it sounds like the reverb is fading in. So maybe this kind of an interesting effect you probably heard on other countless records and things like that. This effect sounds completely different than the first one. So you can kind of choose which one you want. And which one you want depends upon what you're trying to do. And it creates a lot of versatility if you can actually move these. So now after going through all of this, let me actually explain what to do. We have all three of these here, but let's use a order module instead. So look here under modular, we have order, and now it has nothing. If I want to use these exact same modules, I'm just going to right click these, click copy, and then when I go into order, we see the plus here, click paste, like that. I'll do, I guess, charm verb next, copy, go into order, click paste, and rhythmizer last, copy, and then paste here. So I have all three of these in here. And one thing I should be careful of, you see how they're kind of grayed out? It's because they're grayed out here, so then when I copied them, they stayed that way. So I'm just going to double click them to turn them all on. Now, if I look here, I have no device loaded and I have no GUI, which is fine. But let's make this order show up on the GUI. And you think, okay, well, how am I going to do that? First thing we need to do is I'm going to take this and actually, let's just open it up. Click the plus here and put in a parameter. Since we're in FX, we're going to open that and the order module. It's order 1. Now where it says order 1, order, click that, click OK. It has all these weird numbers. Don't even worry about that. That's not important. We'll name it something like, I don't know, switcher or something. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you feel like naming it. I'll put the default down. And now if we look at it, it'll probably look weird, like nothing's there. Okay, so nothing. Like, what? This isn't doing anything. So what we need to do is switch it to the order module. So in here in editor mode, see here, we can choose order or order big. So have that set. You think, okay, everything's great, but now it's like, why is there nothing in here? How am I supposed to move this around? And this is the very important part, so make sure you're kind of paying attention to this. In here, make sure you go into the edit information about the multi-parameter, and then put in these modules, or whatever you want to name them. So it says edit information about the multi-parameter. I'll put this in, and let's say the first one, I'll just put trim. Then I'm going to use a semicolon, important, semicolon. Then I'll put verb here, okay, for my reverb, semicolon, and then the last one, it's rhythmizer, but I'm just going to put reverse. Reverse, like that. So now I have these three in here, click OK. Now on my first screen, it should show these. Trim, reverb, reverse. Now I should say one thing here. This way, it always goes down, so this will be the first one, this will be the second, this will be the third, and on this screen, it goes from left to right, like this. So we see here we have tremolo, verb, and reverse. Now let's try switching it so I have this. I can just drag and drop. Let's put tremolo last, verb first, and reverse second, and it should match inside here. Verb first, reverse second, tremolo third. Okay? And so now we can easily do things like we were doing before. Actually, let me turn off one of these. I'll bypass this, that. And so now we have our reverb before the tremolo. So you can hear that. Actually, I should turn off the filter for a second. Great. Now let's reverse it. So you can see how that works, and it'll work the same way with the reverse. And you're probably thinking, that's good, but you just turned off the reverse, and now how do I turn it on? You know, that can be a pain. But when you actually make the full GUI, it's fairly easy. So I'll show you here in A, where I made just a quick mock-up of a GUI like this. So you see what I did here. I have the reverb, I have the tremolo, I have the rhythmizer, and I can just disable them here. So if I just want reverb, like this, like that. If I want reverb and then tremolo, switch it. That's kind of short there. Let me make this long so you can hear it. Like that. I think, you know what? I actually want this rhythmizer here. Turn this off. Use the rhythmizer. Turn on the filter. Like that. So you see, by doing this, I can easily switch these around. I can change the order. And for this, I'm just using a simple sound, but you can make something much more complex, and you can use other things in here. There's many effects that are linear, which it doesn't really matter what order you put them in. But these, like the reverb, the tremolo, the rhythmizer, or maybe some, I guess, distortions, or other things, bit crushers, those actually do make a difference if you put them before other things. So by just using this module, you can move things around as you see fit. And in future videos, I'll try to do the same thing using the generator section, so you can actually move around the oscillators, etc., so you can get what you want. But I hope this answered anyone's questions they have about the order module. If it does, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about it, leave me a comment down below, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.